The personal mixtape is the closest thing we have to a time machine. It's not just a playlist of songs on a tape. It holds so much more than that. If you've ever received one, you know what I mean. Welcome back to Mixtape. This is part 3 of my 4-part series on cassette tapes. We've already seen how tapes upended music distribution and put a crack in reality. But today we're looking at the magic within these cassette time machines, going to the moon and getting very personal.
Wait, hold please. What else is in your sock drawer?
I mean, just socks.
And
Playing a tape as simple as or even easier than playing a record.
Today, if someone makes you a Spotify playlist, it could be 60 minutes long, but it only took them 3 minutes to make. But if someone gives you a 60-minute mixtape, it took at least 60 minutes to make. And the magnetic particles in a mixtape hold much more than just music. Baked into the tape is also the person's intention. They're in their room, hovering over the pause button, wondering if you'll catch the meaning behind that lyric they chose, hoping you'll feel what they felt when they first heard that guitar solo. Each moment on the tape is a moment spent thinking about you. All of this is baked into the tape itself. Not literally, but if you've ever received a mixtape, you know what I mean. I have 2 stories for you today. One about connection on the largest scale, and one on the smallest.
you know that nobody has ever made me a mixtape?
Really?
Yeah, mixed CDs I had a couple, but nobody ever made me a mixtape.
But you're like Mr. Cassette.
I know, man. It's weird.
I'm
You?
kind of bummed for you because, yeah, someone made me a mixtape. It's a kind of a funny story that goes with it.
Well, I want to hear the story. I know a guy who might be even like more Mr. Cassette Tape than me.
Okay.
I would like to call him and bring him in on this if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll tell him.
His name's Zach. Hey, Zach, you there?
Zach Taylor is a filmmaker and cassette head. A few years ago, he made a movie called Cassettes, a documentary mixtape, so I knew he'd appreciate this story.
Zach, Brandon,
what's up, man?
Zach.
Good to meet you.
Fellow tape head?
You know, aspiring tape head, yes.
I love tapes, man. What are we talking about?
Simon's never had a mixtape made for him.
That tracks.
But I was going to tell a story of someone that made me a mixtape.
There I was, a 13-year-old boy, cast in my middle school's production of the play. I was playing the lead character, Robin Hood, in a comedic take on the classic tale. I was nervous not only because I was the lead, but because I was 13 and I had to wear tights. Fortunately, several friends were in the production with me. Matt was the sheriff of Nottingham. Megan was the props manager. What made me most nervous, though, was the fact that at the end of the play, Maid Marian and Robin Hood are supposed to kiss. And I, at 13, had never kissed anyone.
And you're in tights, so you might get a little...
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. After rehearsal one day, Megan, the prop girl, comes up to me and says, "Hey, I made you this tape of songs. Take a listen. That's some of my favorite stuff. I think you'll like it." I'm like, "Okay, cool, great, thanks." I take it, throw it in my backpack. The next day, we have rehearsal, and Megan comes up to me and she says, "Hey, have you listened to the tape yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't had a chance to listen to your tape yet." Like,
The next day.
I'll get to it. Yeah,
At the final dress rehearsal, I was feeling good. I had my lines memorized, the kiss wasn't weird anymore. I changed into my tights and the dress rehearsal began. Everything went off without a hitch. It was great. As the closing scene approached, I was still a little nervous, but it wasn't as big of a deal. All I had to do was read the king's decree, kiss Maid Marian, and that was it.
So I step up there and I say, "The king has decreed the following." And I unroll this scroll, and the scroll says, it was previously blank because I have my lines memorized because I'm a professional. But I unroll it, and it says on it, it's handwritten, and it says, "Brandon, I like you. Can't you tell? Love, Megan. P.S. That's what's on the tape."
I was so worried about memorizing lines and the big kiss that I had completely missed Megan trying to get my attention with her mixtape. And this is where the comedy turns to tragedy. A few weeks later, my family moved out of state, and I never gave her a response.
Well, what's up with the tape? Do you still have it?
So I do still have the tape, and the thing is I've never re-listened to it.
Oh, well, there's no time like the present, man. Like,
I feel weird still having it because we have not reconnected. I don't know her. I'm married. I got kids now. So like, we're so far apart from this.
But you kept the tape.
yeah.
I mean, I guess I still have the tape. Yeah.
I gotta hear this tape.
Yeah, we gotta listen.
I gotta hear this. Wait, where's the case?
There's no case. It's just this. I've had it in a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag. This feels very weird.
Megan's mind.
But it's been I've had it in my sock drawer forever, and I'm not, you have to understand.
Wait, hold please. What else is in your sock drawer?
I mean, just socks.
And Megan's mind. Why the sock drawer?
I don't know, because where else am I going to put that? I don't have.
Wait, okay.
Anywhere other than a sock drawer.
Does your wife know about this?
She does, yes. She's known about it, and it's like a silly thing because, I don't harbor any feelings at all.
Yeah, this feels like now you're just stalling. I think, let's give this a go.
Okay.
I mean,
We got the Friends theme.
That's sort of like an interesting first message to send.
That it, the Friends theme.
It's like,
Hey, we're friends.
right.
It's getting so lonely inside this bed.
Nelly Furtado? Oh,
Phil
Phil
Collins.
Collins, dude.
This is Hanson.
Yeah.
Is it
100%
Yeah.
this is Hanson.
Oh. This is a freaking bop right here.
Jimmy World.
Go on, go on, leaving me breathless.
We're at the end of side A.
Boston, Higher Power.
On the closing night.
Oh, sh.
Hey, Brandon. I was sort of planning on telling you this on the closing night of the play, but I don't know if I really have the courage to say it to your face. So, here goes. If you hadn't figured it out by now, I just wanted you to know that I like you a lot. I have tried to be fairly subtle about it, I asked you to teach me to play bass guitar.
Forgot
and
about that.
whenever you needed 50 cents, I just happened to have 50 cents. And, in case you were wondering, you owe me $1.50.
Oh my God.
The rest of the tape has songs on it. And they're some of my favorites. I hope you like it.
When I was in 8th grade, Megan made me this mixtape. A carefully curated blend of Hanson's teenage pop, Phil Collins's emotional depth, and Linkin Park's raw energy. In the middle, she wove in her own voice, capturing a moment of middle school courage as she confessed her feelings for me. In the 20-something years since, I've moved away, built a wonderful family, and created a life I wouldn't change for anything. Yet, this small plastic rectangle has traveled with me through every move, every life change. Why? This tape has become more than just a missed connection or an awkward teenage memory. It's a micro time machine, preserving two 13-year-olds in magnetic particles. Megan in her bedroom, carefully choosing each song, hitting pause at just the right moment. And me, too distracted by tights and stage fright to understand the significance of this tape. That's why I've held on to it all these years. It's not about maintaining a connection to Megan. It's about keeping a tether to a specific moment in time. A version of myself that exists only inside this cassette.
Like, it's crazy how the mechanisms of a cassette, like, have the ability to transport you back in time like that. If we're talking mixtapes, we got to talk about Apollo 11. So it all starts in 1969.
The Apollo 11 astronauts are about to leave Earth for the moon. In addition to their spacesuits, water and food, and technical equipment, they're carrying something else.
Starting in 68 with Apollo 7, every Apollo mission went up with, you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
One of these beautiful aluminum.
See?
Yeah, be careful. The Sony TC50. This came out in 1968, so this is a good like 10 years before the Walkman. The microphone here, hard to miss. The speaker here, hard to miss. Like, it does like the two things, play and record. The astronauts were kitted out with those to record the events of the trip in real time.
Okay, and that makes sense because this is not mission critical. It's not going to mess with the actual launch or anything like that.
Well, it's not going to mess with the launch, but it is mission critical. Because you have a rocket going up 240,000 miles. This rocket, the Saturn V, weighs something like 6 million pounds. And most of that is fuel. Most of that is going to be spent, within the first half an hour, just getting out of the neighborhood. And so they're not bringing anything on board that isn't absolutely necessary.
So on July 16th, 1969, these astronauts blast off into space for a 3-day journey to the moon. NASA is in constant communication with Apollo 11, making sure everything is going smoothly. Though the astronauts' TC-50s were meant for documenting their thoughts, they served another vital purpose.
This is Apollo Control at 59 hours 9 minutes. Apollo 11 now 182,000 nautical miles from Earth, and the velocity down to 3,072 feet per second. The intermittent music that we're getting is apparently coming from the spacecraft. The crew has on board portable tape recorders with music on the tapes.
Yes, each astronaut had their own personalized mixtape with music on it.
And apparently the music is triggering the Vox-operated microphones, and we're getting intermittent music down from the spacecraft.
The thought was, if you're going to the moon with a tape recorder, you might as well put music on it before you record over it. So a record executive named Mickey Cap, who was friends with Buzz Aldrin, offered to make the astronauts mixtapes for their trip to the moon.
And so he got on the phone with his buddy, Buzz Aldrin. Hey, give me your favorite song. And from that song, he compiled a list of about 30 tracks. So you have Angel of the Morning, you have Galveston, you have Mother Country. These are all kind of like adult contemporary vibes.
Is he responsible for making each of the mixtapes for all of the Apollo missions?
Yes.
And each astronaut, not just each mission. Each astronaut got their own tape. Yeah, Buzz claims he reached behind his seat, pulled out the TC-50, and had queued up Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon the moment they touched down on the moon.
For me, for my money, it doesn't get any weirder than Neil Armstrong's Choice, which is an album from the 40s called Music Out of the Moon, which sounds like, imagine you go to like a tiki bar on acid, and they're playing like theremin music. And it sounds like space agey, it sounds like a cartoon space invasion. That was Neil Armstrong's Choice. A very literal guy.
While Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are household names as the first men to walk on the moon, there was a third astronaut on Apollo 11. He may be less famous, but as Zach explained, he was absolutely essential to the mission's success.
Michael Collins is sort of the Ringo of the group. All the cameras are pointed on the guys on the ground, Buzz and Neil, and somebody's got to watch the car. The command module needs to stay in the moon's orbit and just like play the waiting game. I would argue that he had the most important job, getting them there and picking them up and taking them home.
Michael Collins' mixtape is lost to history. No one knows what songs were on it or where it ended up. 3 days later, as Apollo 11 reached its destination, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin board the lunar lander, Eagle, to descend to the moon's surface. But Michael Collins, he stays behind in the command module Columbia, orbiting for 21 and a half hours by himself as he waits to retrieve his fellow astronauts. For half of this time, he would be on the dark side of the moon, completely cut off from Earth's view, sunlight, and radio contact.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. All your systems are looking good going around the corner. We'll see you on the other side. Over.
Not only is it him on the dark side of the moon and Buzz and Neil on the moon, but it's like the entire world is watching Buzz and Neil on the moon. So it's literally the whole world is focused on this one event, and Michael Collins is left out. Michael Collins is alone.
And the worst part of it was he missed the landing. He missed the actual Neil Armstrong coming down, planting his foot. He was on the dark side, and he missed it.
And the whole world is watching.
Except for one guy. In one of these lonely, hour-long stretches, being totally cut off, he said at one point, if a count were taken, there'd be 3 billion plus 2 on one side of the moon, and 1 and God knows what on the other side.
But the hardest part was yet to come. In order to go home, Buzz and Neil needed to launch from the moon's surface at precisely the right moment, so Collins could grab them in the command module. And there was one major complication.
The one thing they couldn't test for was the Eagle taking off from the moon's atmosphere. They didn't know if it would have enough juice. They didn't know if the engine would have been rattled, damaged during this undocking and redocking and the whole journey.
The challenge of testing it was we had no idea what the lunar surface was like, and so they didn't know if there would just be feet of sediment, and that would somehow inhibit the Eagle from being able to take off again. The expectation from all 3 astronauts was there was about a 50% chance that they would successfully get off the moon and redock. So he's up there, 22 and a half hours, whatever it is, and the whole time he's thinking, this is a coin flip. Whether I ever see these guys again is a damn coin flip.
For nearly a full day, Michael Collins orbits the moon alone. Unsure if he'll return to Earth as the sole survivor or as part of a 3-person crew that just made history.
Gosh, I think about this a lot. I think about Michael Collins up there alone. We all know that feeling of like watching those close to us, like celebrate success or get a great opportunity and feeling like a certain amount of FOMO, a certain amount of like being left out of the party. And on the tape that he clung to, that he held in his hand during that 21 and a half hours, he said, "My greatest terror is having to come back to Earth alone. I would surely be a marked man. We are minutes away from finding out the truth of the matter."
Surrounded by absolute darkness and silence, the loneliest man in the history of the universe turns to his cassette tape, a simple device that has become his lifeline, keeping him mentally and spiritually tethered to Earth as he waits to complete his mission and bring everyone home.
And so that's where this tape and the TC-50, this player, become mission critical. It becomes your second in command. It becomes a life raft. I've spent most of my life trying to come to terms with like the hiss of the cassette. You know, everybody's like, oh, the surface noise, like it sounds so crummy, like it sounds like the music is like underneath the hiss sometimes, you know? But like, I imagine if I'm alone in the Columbia, void of all sound, that hiss would be the sweetest sound on earth.
The personal mixtape is a miracle in a box. It's a tether capable of connecting people across space and time. A time machine waiting to bring you back to the feeling of being in that moment. Has anyone ever said that about a Spotify playlist? This is what we lost when we switched to streaming, when we switched to digital, even when CDs took over. We still have custom playlists, but they're so easy to make that the meaning has dissolved. The tether isn't as strong because newer mediums can't capture intention. If no one's ever made you a mixtape, I sound crazy. But if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. You know how Michael Collins felt when the tape hiss became his lifeline back to Earth. You understand why I've kept Megan's tape for over 20 years, because that tape holds a version of myself that exists nowhere else. Cassette tapes brought a lot of firsts, upending music distribution and blurring the lines of reality long before the internet did. But the personal mixtape is something that we lost and have never had an equal replacement for. The technology got better, but something intangible slipped away. I've spent the last 3 weeks diving into cassette tapes, learning how they changed the world, and recording my own tapes. But now, it's time I make my own mixtape. Like a mixtape. Not just a playlist of songs, but music that I make, a time capsule for this exact moment, capturing the feeling of rediscovering this forgotten history, of understanding why a simple plastic rectangle can hold so much meaning. I'll take everything I've learned over the last few weeks, make this personal, get creative with a 4-track tape recorder, and distribute this however I want. I want to create my own tether to this moment, something that'll carry the weight of intention that only a mixtape can hold. But before I create my own tether to this moment, there's a loose end that Simon and Zach insisted I address.
When's the last time you spoke to her?
I mean, when I was 13.
Because then you moved.
Because then I moved, yeah.
Dude, can we call her? Do you have her number? Where is she?
Let me go see if I can find her number. As a person who does journalism from time to time, I have some ways to find these things out.
As a professional stalker.
Oh, yeah. I got a phone number. I got an email address. Yeah, man.
You want me to do it?
There's the number.
Well, what are you going to say?
If I was her, I'd say, where's my $1.50?
So nervous.